Hey everybody, welcome back. Talking today about your pets in the apocalypse. Your pets in the apocalypse, or long-term grid down situation, or whatever or however you want to call it. Basically the idea being that for some reason, for some unspecified long period of time, the rest of the world is cut off. You may not have power, you may not have access to any goods because of the supply chain. It's the same argument that you have with your regular prepping. But what about if you have pets at home? What about if you have animals? What if you have a dog or a cat? Have you thought about prepping for these creatures that you've taken the responsibility of? You brought this cat into your house, you brought this dog, you got dogs, you got birds, yeah. Although I don't know. Birds in the apocalypse might be a pain in the butt because they are noisy.
Yeah.
You ever known anybody that had pet birds? They make a lot of noise.
The thing with that too is a lot of people clip the wings, so you can't even let them out.
Yeah, some of them have been hobbled. So if you release them, they're pretty much helpless. So you've got some kind of a pet. Have you thought about that? Are you prepared for dealing with your pet under those kind of circumstances? Do you store up and rotate dog and or cat food, whatever kind of pet food that you have? Are you prepared to share whatever other foods you have with your animals? I know dogs can be pretty good for that. If whatever you're cooking, they want to eat that too. They don't want what you slopped in the bowl. They want what's on the table. But do you have enough table scraps, if you will, that you can accommodate your animal? Is your animal well trained enough? A lot of people are like, oh yeah, my dog's real sensitive, and I did a video about this a long time ago, because there's more to think about than what your interpretation of having a dog helping you in a long-term grid down situation in the apocalypse, if you will. That they say, oh, it'll be a good alarm system because he's really sensitive. No, he will draw a lot of attention to you wherever you are and get you into trouble and probably get you killed. Most people, their pets are not well trained at all. Even the ones that are trained are not trained very well. And that animal, if it does not know how to be quiet and sit still, is going to alert people to your presence. And if they hear a dog barking and they're like, is still a dog around here? Let me go check this out. And then you've got problems. Cats, you could probably put outside. Unless they're homebody cats. If they were very young, I've noticed that if they're really young cats, they're afraid to go out. They don't want to go to the door. They like staying inside. If it's a transitional cat, they might fare better. I've pointed it out before. We help out strays. Usually by the time we come across a dog, it's already too late because they run up and down on the side of the road looking for their ride, and somebody runs them over. With a cat, they wander off and get lost. And then eventually they'll seek out food, and if you have a bowl out, they'll find you. And that's how we end up with a lot of cats, actually. But have you thought about this far enough in advance? If you've got cats, if you've got extra litter, sounds crazy, but if you've got a cat that you're going to keep inside, you've got to accommodate it. You've got to accommodate that animal.
You can find other things to use than litter, because you can use sawdust and sand and mix with ash, different stuff like that.
Yeah. Problem with that though is that traditional litter clumps and that stuff doesn't.
Yeah.
So you'll have a pool in the bottom. You dig through, and it's like being on the beach where you dig under, and then you've got like this water seeping through. You'll have that with urine though.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Remember old school litter. If you're old enough to remember before there was clumping litter, that's what it looks like. But it's a lot to consider, especially sanitation and upkeep. These animals, if they can't go out, they're going to be nervous, and they might start going more in the house or marking in the house, and then you've got that to deal with. It's a lot to consider. Letting animals free could pose a lot of problems. I know I've heard this before. People are like, yeah, if there was, again, long-term grid down is what I like to say. It's been 60 days and there's no power, people are dying, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go and release all the animals. I'm going to open people's doors and let the dogs out and stuff like that. you don't know what you're opening up to. That's something to think about also. That animal could attack you. That animal may just die anyway. That animal may pack up, especially a dog, and become competition for you. Suddenly you're walking down the street one day and there's 12 stray dogs that you let free that think you're the meal. You've got to think steps ahead. But if you have pets, you do need to consider properly prepping for them. What do they need? How much do you spend in a month? How much food do you need for your dog or dogs or cat or cats? Because that's the most common pets. In a month's time, could you put aside 6 months worth and rotate it like you rotate your own food? There's a lot to consider there also, because you must maintain the rotation. You've got to store it the same way you store your preps, in a cool, dry place, cool, dry, and dark. Pest-free also is a consideration. Insects love pet food as much as yours. And do you have anywhere to keep that? It can get bulky. It can take up a lot of space.
Especially the bags of food.
Yeah, bags of food. What kind of bags are they? Are they the vinyl weaved bags, or are they paper? If they're paper, pests are more likely to be able to get into them. And I mean insects. Rodents will get into anything if you got a rodent problem. And if you got a rodent problem, you've got a whole different problem altogether. And you need to solve that as quickly as possible. Usually if you have cats around, you don't have a rodent problem though. But that, it's something to consider. That's one of the reasons why we like having the cats around, actually, is you'll never see a rodent anywhere near our property for however far. They don't like to come around. But do think about that, and do prep for your pet now if you have not already. Think of them as part of the family unit. If I'm going to maintain responsibility for this animal, how am I going to accomplish that? And also, particularly with a dog, training is essential. All that yipping and yapping, it's not good. If they can alert you to the presence of someone outside of your property without making a whole hell of a lot of noise, even just a low growl, something that you understand what it is and they're not overreacting so that people know you're in there, it's important. It's important to get these animals, especially dogs, trained now before you find yourself in a situation where, again, it could get you killed. It really could. Like I said, I did a video about that a long time ago. YouTube kind of buried it because they don't like me talking negatively about dogs. And it wasn't really negative. I'm just being honest about it. So if you have any thoughts about that, feel free to post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. We hope you did. Share it if you can. Subscribe if you knew, all that good stuff. Check out some of our other videos if you have not. If you wanted to help the channel out, there are links for that down below. Every little bit helps, and we sure do appreciate it. And if that's it, then what more can I say? But stay frosty, folks, and thanks for watching.